FNCS Week 1 just wrapped up, and we saw Clix put an end to Peterbot's insane tournament winning streak, and in this video, I'm going to go over who did well in FNCS Qualifier 1, and also talk about some big teams who didn't qualify to Round 4, and also some notable teams who may need a good week next week to make the upper bracket of FNCS semifinals, so let's get right into the video. Starting it off with the EU recap, in first place in Round 4, we have Vico and Pink who got 390 points. Vico and Pink are looking really solid this season, and I think with a couple of the other big name teams on EU looking a little bit weaker this season, to me Vico and Pink are sliding into FNCS winning contention and definitely are up there on FNCS favorites as of right now. And I think we are guaranteed to be seeing another top 5 from them in Grands and potentially an FNCS win for them. Next in second place is Sky and Scroll on 349. Sky and Scroll won the last game of the day with 10 eliminations to help boost them all the way up to second place, and a really solid finish for them to open up the FNCS season. Next in third place is CZB and Nathan on 341. This team was in first place throughout pretty much the entire tournament, but sadly their worst game of the day came in their last game and it ended up making them fall down to third place instead of securing the first place. But overall, a really good day. They played 6 end games, so pretty much all you could ask for, a really consistent day. Then next in fourth, we have Volko and Vertexers on 326. This is one of the more underrated teams on EU again, and I'm expecting a pretty decent placement from this team heading forward. And then rounding out the rest of the top 10 on EU, we have Karama and Werex in 5th, Darm and Raxi in 6th, Mappy and Kiro in 7th, Sangild and Marius in 8th, Vino and Tayson in 9th, and Clement and Lasaf in 10th. It's good to see Vino and Tayson up in the top 10. They were struggling for most of the tournament, and they're obviously a team with major expectations heading into this season. But now taking a look at some of the notable EU teams that didn't come top 10, we have Seti and Cami in 35th, Badil and Rezon in 50th, Mongrel and Mr. Savage in 68th, Murstache and Malibuka in 75th, and Queasy and Thomas HD in 94th. Seeing Queasy and Thomas in 94th is definitely not what we expect from them, but it's not the end of the world, it's just the FNCS qualifiers, and if all of these teams repeat round 4s next week, they are all pretty much a lock to make the upper bracket. Mongrel and Mr. Savage were actually doing really well in round 4, but kind of had a rough last hour that ended up making them get only 68th. I think they did a little bit better than the 68th, but nonetheless a really solid placement for them. I think they looked a lot more locked in for FNCS than they have been for the Cash Cups and the Eval Cups. And now taking a look at the teams that did not qualify to round 4 and are basically eliminated from the upper bracket and are going to have to clutch up a lower bracket qual next week, we have Yanis and Flixie, Wheat and Shamoki, Moneymaker and Fanayan, Jabco and Putrick, and Skydoon and Shakos. These are 5 really good teams on EU, and all of these teams are going to need to make round 4 next week or their seasons are over. Comment down your thoughts on EU's FNCS Qualifier 1 and let me know which teams disappointed you or which teams surprised you this week. And now let's get into the NA recap. And to start things off, we have Clix and Epic Whale in first place on 394 points. Clix and Epic Whale finally put a stop to the Peterbot winning every tournament, and Clix and Epic Whale looked really solid in this tournament, and this might be one of their best performances as a duo yet. It's crazy to not see Peterbot and Poyo in first place, but at the end of the day, this is only the qualifier matches and this isn't a set lobby, and if it was a set lobby, Peterbot probably would have went insane and won. Next in second, we have Flix and Polis, and then in third place, we have Acorn and Cold. Acorn and Cold are looking better and better every tournament. They started out this season looking really sluggish, and I think are starting to maybe get into their groove and look a little bit better than they were looking earlier in the season. Hopefully Cold is playing the game a little bit more now. Heading into the last Cash Cup, Cold was only level 25 before that Cash Cup started, so hopefully he's playing the game a little bit more than what he was. Then next in fourth place, we have Hazins and Magia Jr. This is actually a team that was playing Brazil last season and is now playing NA this season. And this isn't the only team that did this either. There's actually a couple teams that played Brazil from Peru, but they are now playing NA due to ping and probably to play for a better prize pool. But nonetheless, a pretty solid fourth place for this team in their first FNCS on NA. And then rounding out the rest of the top 10, we have Skittles and Trashy in 5th, Peterbot and Poyo in 6th, Raze and Curly in 7th, Caillou and Passion in 8th, Baka Pars in 9th, and then Agers and Booga in 10th. Peterbot and Poyo basically only played 4 games in this tournament. Take a look at their first 4 games. They got a 30th with 5 elims, a first place with 25 eliminations, which breaks the world record for most eliminations in an FNCS round 4. First place with 20 elims, and then a 21st with 15 elims, and then after that didn't make a single in-game. This was the first tournament where Peterbot and Pollo look a little human, but I'm not going to look too much into it. This isn't the most competitive format we've ever had. And then talking about Adriz and Bugha are also starting to look a lot better every tournament, and I think in classic Bugha fashion, this team's going to get top 3 in NA FNCS this season. And then now taking a look at some of the other notable teams that didn't get top 10 on NA, we have Kanata and Cooper who got 13th, Paco and Mixon on 20th. Yes, that is an EU team that has moved to NA for this season. I don't think we really know the reason why they came to NA, but Paco and Mixon are in Dallas and playing FNCS on NA this season. And they actually won their first tournament on NA, getting first place in FNCS round 1. But moving on, we have Aviv and Mero in 44th, Bucky and Okus in 55th, and then Iamzo and Rise in 109th. Seeing Iamzo and Rise not get top 100 is pretty crazy, but to be honest, I don't think they've really been playing too spectacular this season. This is a team that has very high expectations in Grand Finals, so hopefully we can see them lock it in and start placing good heading into FNCS Grands, and then a good placement in Grands. And then the notable teams on NA that did not qualify to round 4, we have Oliver OG and Asian Jeff, and Dayan Source. So just like EU, these teams are basically guaranteed to not make the upper bracket and are going to have to make that lower bracket run next week and make round 4 and then get around top 120 to make the upper bracket. Now, I don't know for sure what the series points is going to look like for upper bracket or lower bracket, and I might make a video later this week talking about what certain teams need to make either the upper bracket or the lower bracket, and give some estimates for series points and estimates for placements that teams will need. So stay tuned for a video like that, and let me know down in the comments your thoughts on NA's FNCS, if some teams surprised you or if some teams disappointed you. And also let me know down in the comments, what do you think the EU team Paco and Mixon will place in NA FNCS Grand Finals this season? They're currently landing the split south of Fencing Fields that Seti and Cammy also land on EU, and this spot is also claimed by Aviv and Mero, so we might be seeing Aviv and Mero versus Paco and Mixon in Grand Finals this season. So that's going to be a very big battle for sure. And as always, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you are new to the channel. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to also drop a like on it, as it helps it get pushed out to more people. Super excited that FNCS season is back. It's the best time of the season. It's filled with some insane moments and vibes. And as always, thank you guys for all the support on all the videos recently, all the streams recently, and all the support across every social media platforms. That's going to do it for me in this video, guys. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.